ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्यत दिशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। नमो ब्राह्मण देवाय गो ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगद्हिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय ते नमः। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद पांचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण, वेलकम एवरीवन।
हरे कृष्ण माताजी।
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण एवरीवन। So yesterday we covered 2 sections. We'll try to finish today. I don't know. We'll see if possible we can try. Otherwise, we'll postpone for next week. So, okay. So yesterday, in chapter 13, we covered section A and B. So Arjuna's questions: Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetragna, Jnanam, and Gneyam. Okay. What was Krishna's answer? So who is the, I mean, who are the two people in the body? Like, what is body called as? What is body? What was the body called?
Soul Mataji.
Mataji
Body is
Kshetra.
a kshetra. Yeah, body is a kshetra. The field of activity is called a kshetra. And who is Kshetragna? And how many Kshetragnas are there in our body?
Two.
Mataji, there are two Kshetragnas. One is the
Yeah.
soul itself.
Soul and one is
another-
super soul.
Yes, very nice. So one is the soul, the other is the super soul. So, and what is the reason? What is Gnayam? What is the goal of knowledge? To understand what? Why are we have to? Why should we study all these things? And why are we learning all this knowledge? What is the main intention? What is the goal of knowing all this? Prakriti, Purusha.
To reach
Mataji
Krishna.
told that we are not this body. We are something above this body.
Yeah. So the Gnayam. Gnayam is what? What is the Gnayam? The goal of knowledge is to, somebody
Reach
said,
Krishna.
to understand Krishna, right? Yes. So that is what we understood yesterday. And Kshetra, Kshetragna, and Prakriti. So Prakriti is ever changing, and this material body that we have, that also goes through so many changes, right? Because it is made of material elements. This body is made of material elements, and that is the nature of Prakriti. And Krishna answers the question 3, 4. And today section we'll see Krishna further answers to question 5, the process of knowledge and liberation, in sloka 8 to 13. And in section D, we see Krishna further answers to question 6, object of knowledge. And Krishna answers to question 1 and 2, Prakriti, Purusha and their union. And in the final section, we see Jnana Chakshusha, how one person in knowledge is able to perceive the things, right? So, section C. For Krishna's further answer to question 5, the process of knowledge and liberation. Amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham stairyam atmavinigraha indriyartheshu vairagyam anahankara eva cha janma mrityujara vyadi dukkha doshanudarshanam asaktiranabhishvangaha putradhara grihadishu nityancha samachittvatvam ishtanishtopapatishu मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् अरतिर्जनसंसदि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानम् इति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा. So this shlokas, if you learn, there are around 3, 4, 5. So basically Krishna has clearly given in detail what is the meaning of knowledge, what is the real knowledge. So we have so many knowledge, right? In the material world also we learn, but what is the true knowledge? This is what is the true knowledge as per Lord Krishna. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of object of sense gratification, absence of false ego, perception of evil of birth, death, old age, and disease. Detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest. Even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events. Constant and unalloyed devotion to me. Aspiring to live in a solitary place. Detachment from the general mass of people. Accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge. And besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. So basically, we understand that from chapter 13 till 18, basically till chapter 17, because chapter 18 is more of summary of all the chapters. So we see that more on, it is stressed on the jnana, right? The Bhagavad Gita, we saw like how it is divided into 3 parts. And from chapter 13 to chapter 18, it is more of knowledge. And why should we have this knowledge? So one thing we understood yesterday, because in order to attain devotion to the Lord, we need to have knowledge. Not only that, what will happen? Prabhupada also says that philosophy without sentiment is a mental speculation, and I mean religion without philosophy is a mental speculation, and philosophy without religion is a just a sentiment. So what happens if you are doing only bhakti? If you say, okay, Krishna has declared in chapter 12, bhakti is the highest, so why should I have the knowledge? So then what will happen? People may confuse you, or people put cross questions, you will not be able to answer, right? You're only doing bhakti, you're only chanting, I will only do bhakti because Krishna has told bhakti is the, because Krishna, every chapter has been stressed that bhakti is the highest. Then why should I have knowledge? Why should I study Bhagavad Gita? Right? I will only do devotion, somebody can say. So then what will happen? Then it will just become like a sentiment, because without knowledge we are worshipping. Like how we used to go initially, I mean, when I used to go to temple earlier, right? We don't know. I really didn't know. Like simply like they'll be doing puja, you just pray something and then you come out. I mean, we don't really think about our connection with Lord, right? See, there is a difference before and now you go to temple. Have you experienced, any of you? Is it the same way that you perceive Lord when you go now, after coming to Krishna consciousness? Yes. Is it
No,
the
Mata.
same?
No,
Yeah.
no.
So how was it earlier and how do you feel now?
Now
Just
we understood a lot right now
yeah,
when
the
we are
way
praying.
you look at the
Yeah,
Lord is different, right? And
yeah.
I mean, we know now that there is a connection. So because that personal connection was not there. I mean, were not, it was always there, but we were not aware of it, right? So basically, it is said when you go to temple, it's not that we go to see Lord; it is because Krishna want to see us. So that is why we go. So basically, that how do we understand this? Knowledge will not be there if I am only doing devotion, and also there are people can question you, cross question you, or how can you tell Krishna is supreme Lord, or many different questions can come. But then when you have a proper knowledge, proper understanding of shastras, right, then you are able to answer them. That is why knowledge is also very important. That's why Prabhupada says, just knowledge without the religion without knowledge is a, sorry, religion without what did I say?
Mataji, philosophy.
Philosophy, sorry. Yeah, religion without philosophy is a sentiment, and philosophy without religion, right? Some people like the Mayavadis, Jnanis, Mayavadis, they want to know on their own, right? They do a lot of mental speculation. They read a lot of books. They want to they want to understand on their own endeavor. So that is called as mental speculation. So that is also not recommended. So both, it should be mixed. So Krishna conscious means it is the knowledge plus the bhakti. Both are there, the devotion, both. So it is not like somebody is a devotee, he don't know anything, he's just a sentimentalist. So some people may think like, okay, somebody is very emotional or very sentiment, that is why they have taken to bhakti. No, because we are able to understand the real knowledge. That is why the people, why? Because we see it is not that everybody are taking into bhakti. Really, it needs some intelligence, right? And there are in ISKCON, if you see, like many people are very highly qualified. There are many doctors, lawyers, or different. I mean, they are like highly qualified people. So basically this knowledge, but so that is a material knowledge, but then this knowledge is not restricted to anyone. It does not need somebody, only a PhD holder can understand, nothing like that. It just need, what does it need to understand Krishna and Bhagavad Gita knowledge? What is it required? Yes, what is that required? What does Krishna say? How can we understand Krishna? How to
By
understand
faith,
Krishna?
Mataji.
Yeah,
By faith.
yeah, faith should be there, right? And also the devotion towards the Lord. Bhaktya mamabhi janati. So when we have devotion towards the Lord, all these things will come, right? And we need not separately aspect for getting all these things. So Krishna says that when you become my bhakta, you get automatically this. I mean, all the qualities will manifest. Prabhupada says that devotee is always a gentleman, right? So
Surrender unto Krishna, Mataji.
yes, very nice. So when we surrender unto Krishna and we are really sincere in our devotional service, then Krishna reveals himself. So we'll just quickly go through this. So humility, quality of having a modest or low view of one's importance. So it means being very humble, not expecting honor, right? So not expecting somebody has to honor me, or because then again it is on a body platform. When you're expecting a honor and or you are getting hurt for small things, that means we are on a bodily platform, right? So then pridelessness. So pridelessness, understanding that we are not body and honor and dishonor are the same. So so one should not be pride. So this pride also comes because of the false ego, right? False ego, thinking that I am this, or I am in a big post, everybody should respect me, right? That pride. And Hiranyakashipu, like he was very proud of his because he had so much of opulence, but nothing will stay, right? So if he is not a devotee of Krishna, then Lakshmi will not stay with them. So pride should not be there. And non-violence, ahimsa, unless so one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. So basically, if we have knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and we are not trying to tell anyone else, so that means we are also committing a violence. Here, Prabhupada says in the purport. So basically, if whatever knowledge you have, you need to share. At least ask people to chant Hare Krishna. Or now Gita Marathon is going on. So this whole month, at least try to distribute the books, because that so much of mercy we get, because their life can change. Maybe you are not able to give philosophy, or maybe you are not able to engage in the preaching. So at least you give the Bhagavad Gita. So somebody in the house can their life can change because of the Gita, right? So that mercy you will get. So that is so not only that, also for our own benefit also we have to engage in devotional service. So otherwise it is called as Atmahana in Ishopanishad, means somebody is a killer of the soul because you are not feeding your soul. Tolerance, Shanti, be practiced to bear insult and dishonor from others. Simplicity, so straightforward that you can disclose the truth even to an enemy. So one should be very simple in his dealings with others. So Prabhupada says that even to enemy also, because the person who is so simple, he is not afraid of anything, right? He is
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Atmahana.
Yeah, Atmahana is for the violence. I mean,
Okay.
violence to the soul is called as
Hare Krishna.
Atmahana. Yes, killer of the soul. Yes. So accepting a spiritual master. So this is very essential. We all know, unless, because even Krishna says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So upadeshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Because without surrendering to a spiritual master, we cannot understand Bhagavad Gita unless we have the mercy of Guru Krishna Kripa Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So we cannot understand this knowledge. So, and cleanliness. So external cleanliness is bathing. So it is recommended at least twice a day we take bath. And then chanting. So so it cleanses us. By chanting internally we clean us. So all the anarthas will go from our heart, right? So that is why we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So much of dust is accumulated in our heart now. So if that has to go, it get purified by chanting. That is why this bhakti itself is a purification process. If the other yogas, if we see, it is like the Ashtanga yoga and all, the person has to work on his senses and mind. He has to control all that. After that only he'll be able to cleanse. I mean, he became pure and he will be able to see the Lord, like samadhi stage. So it takes lot of austerity. But bhakti is not like that. So when you're chanting itself, it is a purifying. It will purify our mind. It will purify our heart, right? So all the anarthas will go. And then steadiness, determined to make progress in spiritual life. So we should not be feeling bad if you are going slow or comparing with others, that, okay, somebody else joined before me and they're able to proceed, but I'm not. It's okay, because everyone's life is different and we never know what they have done in previous lives, right? So we have to be patient. So this is Utsahat, Nishayat, Dhairyat. So these things are Utsaha, enthusiasm, and having a determination and having a patience. is very much important. Just like in any other field we have, right? Progress will not happen in one day. Anyone to become like a good sportsman, or to become like it won't happen in a one day. He takes, I mean, so much of hard work is done for a long time. After that only one becomes a champion. So similarly, even in bhakti, it takes time. So we need to be determined, but then I will make progress. Self control, reject anything unfavorable to spiritual advancement, or control the senses. Okay, anyone knows the what are the 6 things which, like, for surrender, what are the 6 things of surrender to Krishna? Principles of surrender, 6 principle of surrender. So this is one of them. The rejecting unfavorable to spiritual advancement is one of them. Is any you can try or say 1 or 2 points also. So what are the principle of surrender?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Self-surrender, humility,
Okay.
the
Yes.
acceptance of the
Humility is
Lord,
there. Yeah.
acceptance of Lord as
Acceptance
one,
as what?
Lord as master.
Guardian. Yeah. He's our guardian. Accepting Krishna as our guardian. Yes, very nice. And humility is also right.
Rejection of unfavorable things.
Yes, very nice. Yes. And acceptance of favorable things. Acceptance of which is favorable for my advancement, and rejecting something which is not good. So unnecessary watching movies, right? Or chatting.
Yes,
Yeah. Involving in those activities, avoiding those things. So that is which is not favorable for me. That is not helping me. So that should be avoided. And then anukulasya sankalpaha pratikulasya varjanam. So rakshishyatiti vishwaso, that Krishna is my protector. He will save me.
Protector. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Protector.
So he will save me. And goptitte varnanam tata means, as you said, he will be a guardian. Krishna is there as a guardian, means in the form of scriptures Krishna has given us to show like how one should best make use of the human life, right? So we have got this precious life as human, in the form of human beings, and we have got after so many lives, so we should not waste it. And then atma nikshepakarpanye shadvida sharanagati. So then surrendering to the Lord with all humility. So these are the 6 principles of surrender. Renunciation of sense object. So what does it mean? Not to cater to unnecessary demands gratified only to keep body fit for, what is it? Yes. So basically, we should not unnecessary I mean, not spending too much on keeping body fit, right? People spend a lot of money for keeping themselves, or spending money on lot of money on beauty parlors, it could be, or so going for, I mean, maintaining the like basic thing. Okay, some yoga, or doing some exercise, keeping your body fit, it is good, because we need to only if the body is good, we can do the any devotional service also. So of course we need to take care of this body, but then it should unnecessary demands we need to avoid. So absence of false ego. Reject I am this body or mind, accept that I am Krishna's servant. So that is a true ego. So ego is always there, even in a spiritual form of life. So true ego is that I am Krishna's servant. Perceptions of evil. Regular hear about these from the proper source, become disgusted with material life. So if we are very much attached to this material world, right? So we cannot think of liberation. A person will not think of liberation when he is very much attached to this material world. So for that, we need to understand how this material world works, and what is the purpose of my life, and why am I here, and what is my real goal. So when I understand that, only then I will have some detachment. So unless we have some detachment towards this material life, you cannot take Krishna consciousness seriously, right? We cannot. So we cannot Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. If you have to come out of it, obviously we need to have some distaste, because they are towards the sense gratification thing. So unless that is there, it is difficult. Detachment, be ready to sacrifice everything for Krishna. So this is a higher stage. So this will go gradually. So how Krishna explains in chapter 12. So it is not like everybody are Ananya Bhakta at first. So it will be stage wise. Krishna gives the option. If you're not Ananya Bhakta, okay, do sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti, doing sadhana bhakti. Or if that is also not possible, then nishkama karma yoga, right? So like that, slowly giving something to the Lord, so that becomes yoga. So through that we can become purified, and slowly we can uh, attain that asakti or detachment. So detachment, asakti to Krishna means detachment to material world, other things. No attachment with wife, children, family, etc. So it does not mean that you should not take care of your family, leave everything and take into either sannyasi or vanaprastha. It's not like that. So usually in the earlier age, like people were in the as per Vedic age, we know, like until the child was sent to Gurukul, and from 5 till 5 the parents will take care. From 5 years to 25 he'll be in the hands of a guru, spiritual master. So once he comes to that age, then he will decide, he is allowed to get married. If he wants to marry, he can get married. And after that, he will be like at age of 50. It was like most of the kings and in the Rajagurus, right? So they were all used to take sannyas. When they were 50, they used to hand over their kingdom to their sons, and then they used to go to forest for meditation. So that was the thing happening earlier. So now also Prabhupada says it is good, like if we are able to take, but at a certain age we have to leave the responsibility to children, so that they also become responsible. But I see like what parents do most of the time, even if they're 60, 70, they're still, they want to I mean, they only want to take the in charge of the house. They don't want to hand over it to their younger generation. So what will happen, even the children also are not uh, uh, becoming responsible in that way. Parents are too much pampering the child, right? So actually it is not good for them also, not for the children also. So better you concentrate more on, so when you give the responsibility and then concentrate on Krishna consciousness. So doing Krishna conscious, so okay, where was I? Yeah, should practice, if you can do it in Krishna conscious way, but renounce is unfavorable for Krishna. So what Prabhupada says, so in a case like when somebody's home, not at all they are supporting, so there we have seen in the shastras, like people have given up on family where they don't have support. But this is maybe for men it is easy, but women it is not easy, right? So whatever karma, based on our karma we have got into some family, whatever relations we have got, it's all because of our karma, right? We cannot blame anyone for that. So just accept it and do it whatever possible your way. And no, we cannot give up on family or children like that. So this is for people who are very advanced age, not for us, because we are not in that platform to think that I don't have any other desire, only Krishna. No, no, we are not in that level. This is for people who are in that level. They're so elevated. So that, like how Prabhupada took sannyas, he left his family. So that was because he was already in a very highly elevated. He is a transcendental. So to the three modes, we are not like that. So we cannot see this and take decisions like that. And even mindedness, not elated or distressed at material gain or loss by performing unbreakable devotional service. So not getting disturbed by whenever we have, I mean, in a material life, we may go through some distress or pain. So not being equipoised in any situation. So that is even unalloyed devotional service, engaging oneself in 9 processes of bhakti. Aspiring to live in a solitary place. So this is not possible. We cannot go to forest, right? So this is basically in, it was possible in Satyuga. So now for in Kali Yuga, what Prabhupada gives, not desiring to mix with materialistic people, live in the association of devotees. Because what will happen? Why is Prabhupada saying this? What is the reason? Why should we not mix with materialistic people? What will happen?
We will again fall down, Mataji.
Yeah, because our consciousness also will change. No, the way the kind of talks we involve, we will forget. And because we are fallible, we forget. Most of the time we forget that we are soul. So it is, and if you are in contact with materialistic people, obviously they also drag you to those talks and those activities. We can fall down. That is why it is said, try to avoid mix with people who are very too much materialistic. I mean, it's not like you are avoiding them completely or not talking like that. You're talking, it is said that you speak to them, you give your association, but don't take their association. Means when you go there, you speak to them, say something about Krishna or give some knowledge. So, but then don't take their association. It means don't we speak to them. It's not like you are not at all speaking to them or avoiding. I mean, if somebody is coming and you are escaping and we are going, not like that. We will be speaking to them, right? We can't avoid. You have to speak, but then keep it whatever is required to work, not too much. So detachment from general mass of people, same thing. Acceptance the importance of self-realization, giving up unnecessary sporting, cinema going, social activities, avoiding wasting time. Philosophical research. So rejection of useless research and philosophical topics, so which are not related to Krishna. So those things, those research does not is of no use. So these are the process. Cultivation of these qualities is the real method of acquiring knowledge. Anything speculated beyond these items of knowledge is ignorance. So only so it is said that the tree which have fruit bend more. No, I mean the humility is a main quality a person has. So basically all these qualities are the real knowledge. Now section D, Krishna answers the object of knowledge. The soul can know the super soul, who is the object of knowledge and who assists everywhere and pervades everything. The super soul has transcendental senses and he is the source of all our senses. He is unattached and he maintains all living entities. Only the devotee can understand the field of activities, the body, the process of knowledge, and both the soul and the super soul. So we know, like Krishna tells Arjuna, that super soul, I mean, the Paramatma, the yogi that they meditate upon is also super soul, right? He is the object of knowledge for everyone. Neyam yattat pravakshyami yajnatva anadi matparam brahma na sattanna saduchyate. I shall now explain the noble, knowing which you will taste the eternal. Brahman, the spirit, beginless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. So whom is Krishna speaking about here? Whom is Krishna saying that the Brahman, the spirit, beginless and subordinate to me? Who is subordinate to Krishna?
Arjuna.
Who is it? Yeah, Arjuna is subordinate, but here in this context, whom is Krishna speaking about? Brahman, he says, huh?
Brahmajyoti Mataji, Brahmajyoti. Even Brahmajyoti aspect of the Lord.
No. Yes. Huh?
Soul.
Mataji? Yes.
Sorry.
Can you repeat?
Yes.
Your voice is not coming properly.
Yes,
She said
Mataji.
soul.
Krishna is explaining
Soul,
soul,
yes.
soul.
Correct.
Every
Right. So Krishna is speaking about soul here. The soul, Krishna. So this shows clearly that there are two Kshetragnas in our body. It's not just because some people, they don't believe at all that there is a two. I mean, in Advaita, it is believed that only one. There's no super soul or I'm only God, like that they think. But here Krishna is saying that Brahman, the spirit, that is the soul, which is beginless because we don't know when the soul has come into existence, but it is a subordinate to Krishna. It also lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. So here now Krishna will explain first about the soul, and then he will speak about the super soul.
Mataji, can you display your last but 2 slide just on I just missed on
This one,
No, not the yeah, this one.
this one.
Correct. This I know, the other.
Which one? This?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, Prabhuji, can I move?
Yeah. Yes, please.
So Gneyam, the noble soul. So we need to understand first about the soul and then the super soul. So Arjuna's 6th question, Gneyam. So what is Gneyam? Who is the goal? He asks. So Krishna answers, we need to understand about the soul and the super soul. So BG describes the first object of knowledge. The soul is the living entity. Who are the Gneya? So that there are two people, soul and super soul. Vijnana Brahma, living entity as knowable. Ananda Brahma, this is Krishna as the knowable and the knower. So what are the benefits of knowing the knowable? Benefit of knowing the knowable is can relish the nectar of life. So we see that yesterday we saw the stages Brahma Pracha Pratishtam, no? So how the Annamaya, then Manomaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, then Anandamaya. The final one is the Anandamaya. So in the lower levels, we don't experience that bliss. Only when we come to Anandamaya, that when you connect with the Lord, when we do devotional service and when we connect with Lord, then only this nectar we can experience. Sarvatah panipadam tat sarvatokshi shiromukam sarvata shrutimaloke sarvamavritya tishtati. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. So we see in chapter 11, Arjuna sees this. Now here, the Lord himself is explaining, right? So it is like the supreme soul is pervading everywhere, just like how the sun is pervading everywhere. The sun's light is pervading everywhere. It has the rays are unlimited. No, how it can reach every nook and corner. So of the planet. So similarly, Krishna's the super soul is also all pervading. So yeah. So basically, when we pray Lord, right? Usually it is said that Krishna is always there in spiritual world, enjoying his pastimes with the Gopa boys and with gopis and all. Then how is it possible that when there is a problem to his devotee, Krishna comes here, right? Or when we offer the food, how Krishna comes and takes? Because he is all pervading and he's there. Even he is there as super soul, and he's guiding us also. Being a super soul in our heart, Krishna is there everywhere. So he's there in every atom. Brahma Samhita also states that, no? He's there in Andantarastam Paramanu Chayantarastam. He's there in every single atom. So that's how Krishna is all pervading. So Srila Prabhupada strongly confirms that this was described the super soul, not living entity. Because we cannot have our arms and legs everywhere, no? We cannot have that. So this is only super soul. That clearly states that here it is speaking about the super soul. Sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vivarjitam asaktam sarvabhruchaiva nirgunam gunabhoktrucha. The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached. Although he is the maintainer of all living beings, he transcends the mode of material nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all modes of material nature. So Krishna is transcendental to the three modes of nature, right? So the next chapter is about three modes of nature, Sattva, Rajo, and Tamo. So, but Krishna is transcendental because all these modes are created by Lord and they are like subservient to the Lord. And we can also, a devotee can come over like the three modes if he surrenders to Lord. So Krishna says that Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Maye Mame Prapadyante Maya Me Tam Tarantite. Whoever surrenders to me, when it's not easy to come out of the three gunas, but then who surrenders to me, who takes shelter under me, they can come over and they can transcend these three modes. So super soul is the original source of all senses. Even the all our the Krishna is that is why Krishna is called what? What is Krishna called? He is the original source of all sense. So what is Krishna called as? Arjuna calls him by some name. What is that?
Rishikesha.
Yeah, very nice. So he's Rishikesha. What does Rishikesha mean?
Control.
Control of all
senses.
senses.
Yeah, he's a
Senses.
master of all senses, right? He's a master of all senses. So, so basically, but Krishna here it is contradicting, which he says Krishna is the original source of all senses, but he is without senses. What does it mean? He is without senses. Because Krishna does not have any senses.
He has Mataji, but unattached.
Unattached in the sense.
Not affected by all material modes.
Basically, his senses are not material. He has senses which are transcendental senses, because his senses are like it. What does Brahma Samhita say? It says that one sense, Krishna's one organ can perform a function of other. So it is not like ours. Like our hand means hand will is restricted to do only certain activity. The legs can do only certain activity, but for Krishna it is not like that. Any organ can perform function of other. Can you tell me some example from Shastra where Krishna's different organs can perform different activity, unlike ours? Can you tell me some example?
Through his legs also he can have prasadam like that, Mataji. Through
Yeah,
eyes
can
he
you
can.
quote some reference from Shastra where it says like that he has done something with a different organ which you have heard?
Showing
Like,
the
which is,
word in his mouth to Maya Yashoda.
okay, that is inconceivable potency. That is something called inconceivable potency, which Krishna is able to show. But what else he can do with the organs? Yes.
Mataji, just by glancing over the goddess Durga, he goes to the whole material universe.
Very nice. Yes, I was expecting this. Just with his glance, he was able to impregnate, right, the material world. So how is this possible? We can't. I mean, this is again inconceivable for us. And there is also Krishna says in chapter 9 or 10 that from my mind the sages were born, right? So how is that possible? And how is Lord Brahma born? How is Lord Brahma born? Right? He didn't, it was not through, I mean, not, he didn't even wanted Lakshmi for that, right? Lord Vishnu didn't want Lakshmi also. He's Swayambhu, the Brahma, he is born from lotus, from the stem, navel stem of the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So these are the things. And also it is said n number of universe come out when Krishna, the Lord breathed, Mahavishnu is breathing, so many planets come out. So these are all something which we can understand that Krishna has senses, but they are not like our sense. They are transcendental. So he's unattached, although he's a maintainer of all living beings. So how many times, I mean, every day of Brahma, we know that Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. Krishna says the living entities will be born in the morning, I mean, of the day of Brahma, and then every night they annihilate when Lord Brahma goes to sleep. So he has made this beautiful world, but then Krishna is not very attached. He's having people to maintain this. It's not like he's attached and he has to interfere in everything. Because if we have something, if we want something, don't we do that? We want to involve in everything because we are so much concerned. We are so much attached. But Krishna is not like that. Though he has created, he's unattached. But then he is a maintainer. Though he's unattached, he's maintaining everyone. He's there as Paramatma also in everyone's heart. And he's there like not only that, we also see that in chapter 15 where he's from him how we get the remembrance, the forgetfulness, all this, the intelligence, everything Krishna only gives that. So he's taking care. Dadami buddhi yogam tem. How is Krishna giving intelligence to the living entity? So he's maintaining in all the ways, our mental level, our physical, like even the physical means like we know, like Jataragni Krishna is there in our stomach. He's helping to digest our food. So in that way, and also providing food to all the living entities, including smallest living entities, the ant. So everyone Krishna is arranging the food. Bahirantascha bhutanam acharam charameva va sukshmavat tad avikneyam durastam chantike chatat. The supreme truth exists both internally and externally, in moving and non-moving. He is beyond the power of material sense to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. So how it is said, like if somebody don't want to do devotional service or he don't want to understand Krishna, so Krishna is not there for them. Krishna is far, far away. Because Krishna says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavritah mudoyam nabijanati mama vyayam anuttamam. So basically, mama ajam, something, the last line I'm missing. So basically what he says, Krishna is covered by his internal potency and by the yoga maya. And the mudas, the fools, the people, the artistic people will not be able to understand Krishna. So if somebody don't want to understand Krishna, Krishna is very far, far away for them. But then who wants Krishna, want to please Krishna, then for them Krishna is always near. No, for Prahlad Maharaj, when Prahlad Maharaj said that is your Lord there is your Vishnu there in the pillar? So immediately he came from pillar also. So how was that possible? Because Lord is there in Goloka. How did he come there? So he's there. That is how it is inconceivable potency of the Lord. Avibhaktancha bhuteshu vibhaktamiva cha stitham bhutabranna cha tajneyam grasishnu prabhavishnu cha. Although the super soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is a maintainer of every living entity, it is understood that he devours and develops all. So same thing, how the sun is seen in different places, or there is, if you have some 100 pots, there's a water in that you keep, and when sun is on the top of, top of the head, so that time the sun, the image can be seen in all the 100 parts. So that does not mean the sun is divided, right? Sun is only one. So similarly, the super soul is said to be one. So he is the one who develops it. Krishna is the one virginal who creates, and then at the time of annihilation, he annihilates also at a certain time. Jyotishamapi tajyotihi tamasah paramuchyate jnanam neyam tajajnanam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. he is a source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge, he is the object of knowledge, he is the goal of knowledge, he is situated in everyone's heart. So anything which is luminous, it is Krishna, because in the spiritual world, there is no sun and moon is required, because it is self-effulgent. The spiritual world does not need sun and moon. Why is it required? Anyone knows why we need sun and moon here in this material world? Why is that? Why do we need? And why? So why cannot
Here it
we
is.
see? Huh?
Here it is all material energy is controlled. Material energy.
Yeah. So basically, Maya is covered. Now the Mahatattva, the darkness is there. So we cannot. We need here. So there is a sun and moon. So Krishna is beyond. So in the spiritual sky, these things are not required. So anything that is illuminate. So whoever connects with Krishna, there is no darkness. So Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Haya Andakar. Jaha Krishna, Yaha Krishna, Vaha Maya Ka Na Adhikar. So whenever there is Krishna, there is no ignorance. That meaning is that when we have mercy of the Lord, when we are connected to the Lord, then there is no ignorance. So a devotee is actually intelligent. He is really intelligent. So because Krishna says, Tesham evanu kampartam aham agnanajam tamaha. Because out of mercy, Krishna will take away all the ignorance. Because Krishna is like a sunlight. When anything, even contaminated thing comes in contact with sun, it will also become pure. So similarly, Krishna is Shuddham Apapa Viddham, it is said. Like he's an antiseptic and he's a Shuddha. He's so pure. So anything that comes in contact is pure. So that is why Krishna is the goal of all knowledge. Right? So super soul is source of light in all luminous object. Super soul is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledgeable, object of knowledge and goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham shrudi sannivishto. Iti kshetram tatagnayanam neyam chokta samasatah madbhakta etad vignaya madbhava yopapadyate. Thus, the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the noble have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this knowledge thoroughly and thus attain my nature. So here we can see in this, we have two birds, no? One is who are these two birds? What is this analogy? Can someone explain in brief about this analogy? See, this is, you have to explain with regard to, yeah, super soul.
Soul and super
And
soul.
Soul and super.
what is the field? What is this tree is considered as here?
Body. It is the body here.
Yeah. And this one, the two birds, one is
The one is the eating the word, it is the soul. Eating the
yes,
fruit is the soul, and
yeah,
one
Super soul is just
is
watching.
the super soul.
yes, very
Observing.
nice. Yeah, so super soul is watching and also waiting when this person will look towards me, right? So he want to always help us. So Krishna is there to help us. Only that we have to make endeavor to see towards Krishna. Or if we are so much busy, we don't see inside. We are so much engrossed in external world and we are busy in eating different fruits. What will happen? We'll keep taking birth in this material world, right? So,
Mataji, can you please go to two slows by? That is the super solar slide. I just
which
noted.
one? This one?
Yeah, correct, Mataji. Yeah, just.
Can I go?
Yes, Mataji, yes, please.
Okay.
You noted down.
Okay. So qualification to understand Kshetra, Kshetragna, Jnana and Gneyam. So knowledge. right? So what kind of knowledge? Means understanding oneself in Krishna consciousness and realizing Krishna in everything. So try to see Krishna in everything. So Krishna has told like what are his energies, in what way we can perceive the Lord, even in the things, right? Even in the moving and non-moving things, how Krishna is present, even in water, right? Krishna is there in water. Krishna says, Rasoham apsu kaunteya, I am there in water and I am the fragrance of earth, right? So there are different things how we can understand Krishna also in the energies. So, and try to see Krishna's presence in everything we see. Knowledge is nothing but preliminary stage of understanding devotional service perfectly. Vijnana is the knower, knowable, and process of knowing is called science of knowledge. So what is the process of knowing? So the process is bhakti only. So the process Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Atma Sevanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So those are the process of bhakti through which we can understand the science of bhakti yoga. Otherwise, it's not easy to understand. So the conclusion, this explains about that super soul and as knowable, and super soul is the ultimate object to be known. Now section E, Krishna answers questions 1 and 2, Prakriti, Purusha and their union. Prakritim Purushanchaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaranscha Gunanschaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginless. Their transformation and the moods of matter are product of material nature. So whatever we see in this material world, right, the different species, the 84 lakh species which is given in Padma Purana, so all these have come because of the combination of what? Different gunas. So the percentage of gunas vary, then a different species is made. So Krishna don't want like he has to fulfill the desire. So it is a basic, his work is to, Krishna is to see and to what to say, approve our desires. So when a particular living entity is having certain kind of desire, so obviously that he has to manifest. I mean, the different, that's how the different beings have come into existence. It's all a combination of that different gunas. And it is said that material nature is said to be beginless. So basically, the material nature is always there, and even our body, right? It's made up of 5 elements. Only it's a transformation. So earlier it was the earth, water, fire, ether, air. Those things got mixed up along with different elements. Yesterday we saw the 24 elements. That's how we are made. The body is made, and that's how we get different whatever the happiness, distress. All these are because of the interaction of these 24 elements. So otherwise, that is always there. The material nature is always there, no? But it will be in a different form. It just changes the form, but it is always there, beginless. Karyakarana kartrutve hetu prakritiruchyate purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve heturuchyate. Nature is said to be the cause of all material activities and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyment in this world. So based on our desire, material world will give us a body, right? And based on that, we are placed in certain kind of womb of a mother. So we will, and then once you get that body, we don't have control on that. No? We come in the control of material nature, because the material body, I mean, if I take a dog body, obviously that person will start behaving like a dog. I mean, the soul, it forgets because of the condition. We are so conditioned. When we get a certain body because of my deed or my desire, then according to the laws of nature, we have to act. So there's no option. So whatever dog or hog we take, whatever body, the person will behave in that way, and he has to go through so much of suffering because he thinks and acts because of that certain body he has got. So there's no option than to, whatever enjoyment and suffering we have to go through based on the body we have. Purusha prakritisto hi bhungte prakritijan gunan karanam guna sangostya sadasadyo nijanmastu. The living entity in material world thus follows the way of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. So, why first we have come to this material world because we wanted to lord over this material nature, right? So that is why we are put into different bodies. So how, based on our different association, we get into different modes. Our modes will change based on our association. So but Krishna says that we need to transcend these three modes. So how can we transcend? By hearing from proper source. So see, having belief on our Shastras, through reading through the Shastras, understanding, just like how Arjuna understood from the Lord. So similarly, in that way, we have to understand and we have to choose the right association. So we can see here how a living entity follow the way according to three modes. So based on that, we can see here, it is going into animal life when this will come in actually 16 chapter, no? If the association is not good, the demonic, then we go into animal life. In the mode of, when a person is in mode of ignorance, then he will take animal birth. And then he is in a divine, then he can also become a demigod also. So desire to enjoy forges the bond between Purusha and Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti cha apyuktah dehesmin purushah parah. Yet in this body, there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, supreme proprietor, who exists as overseer and permitter, who is known as the super soul. So the only Krishna is doing these two things as a super soul. Super soul is a plenary expansion of Krishna, right? So what is he doing? One is that he is seeing whatever I'm doing and he is taking note of all the actions that I'm doing. And then he is sanctioning also. Not every time Krishna approves. So many times he will not approve. Whatever we think that may not happen. But sometimes he approves, right? So, but then when we become really a devotee and of Krishna, then Krishna will not approve, which is not good for me. Otherwise, he may keep on approving. Even if it is good or bad, he keeps on approving because I'm not listening to Super Soul, no? So then I don't know what is good for me. I ask something and Krishna approves and I face all the consequences of it. But then when you become very conscious, so then we will not ask. When we become really, we understand all these things, we become conscious of asking also, right? Because we know what I desire, then accordingly I'll get. So yeah, so Krishna is constantly, he's there for us to instruct if we surrender to Krishna. Ya evam veti purusham prakritin cha gunai saha sarvata vartamanopi nasa bhuyo bijayate. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity and interaction of modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless to his present situation. So when we understand this philosophy, so what is the meaning of understanding? Understanding is not just reading and understanding in the sense, practically we are able to apply it, whatever Krishna is telling in our lives, right? So then that person will be eligible for liberation. So this is like a Shruti Pala of hearing this or to knowing about the aspects of Kshetragna. One who understands the philosophy of material nature, living entity, and interaction of mode. Knowledge of truly understanding the relationship between soul, super soul, result will be the liberation and return to the spiritual world. What is the purpose of knowledge? To understand how the living entity has fallen into this material world in a precarious condition. how to understand our position. Dhyanenatmani pashyanti atmanamatmana anye sankhena yogena karma yogena chapare. So now Krishna is going to explain different way of understanding the Lord. That super soul is perceived by some through meditation, some through cultivation of knowledge, and by others through working without fruitive desires. So offering everything to Lord, like Nishkama Karma Yoga, through that also one can understand Krishna. Slowly he'll come to that stage. And cultivation of knowledge, the yogis, right? They do meditation. So these are the different ways how one can understand the Lord. So dhyana is called a dhyana. Pursuing on in the chapter 6, we see how the yogi meditates upon the super soul. So that is one way of understanding Krishna. And then Sankhya Yoga. So this is what the Mayavadis do, and they merge into Brahman, right? The highest is Brahman there, and here it is Paramatma. And karma, still others through working without fruitive desires. Atheists, agnostics, and skeptics are beyond the sense of spiritual understanding. It also includes those who establish the doctrine of monism. So they will never be able to understand Krishna. Devotees of the Lord are best situated in spiritual understanding because they know that beyond the material nature or spiritual world is Supreme Personality of Godhead who expands as Paramatma. Because they meditate upon, they worship Krishna, the two-handed form of the Lord, which is the Bhagwan. Anye tvemajamana anye tve evam ajanantaha shrutvanyebhya upasate tepi chantitaranyeva mrityum shruti parayanaha. Again, there are those, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. So here we can see how, anyone knows who is this?
Yeah, Kapila Muni and his mother.
Yeah, Devahuti. No? So she heard from her son and she was liberated. Somebody can read.
Yes, Mataji. A common man, if he is a good soul, he can advance by hearing. Hearing process of Shravanam is very important. Lord Chaitanya preached Krishna consciousness in the modern world. He gave great stress to hearing. Lord Chaitanya emphasized on hearings the transcendental vibration Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. On hearing from realized souls, gradually worship of the Supreme Lord follows. Although the common man is often not as capable as so-called philosophers, faithful hearing from authoritative persons will help one transcend this material existence and go back home to Godhead.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it is not easy, like doing mental speculation, these and all, like learning through Vedas, not easy for us, no? So easy one is chanting the holy name and going back to Godhead. So the final section F, I think it will take another 10 minutes till we finish today.
Yes, Mataji.
The last section. The Jnana Chakshusha, the vision of knowledge. One who can see super soul, living entities and material nature in their proper perspective sees through, what is that? The eyes of knowledge. Okay. Yavat sanjayate kinchet what is it? Sattvam stavara jangamam kshetragna sanyoga tadvidhi bharatarshabha. O chief of the Bharatas, know that whatever you see in existence, both the moving and non-moving, it's a combination of field of activities and the knower of the field. So whatever we see in the material world, it could be the moving in the sense all the living entities, right? The animals in all the things that are moving, the humans, it could be animals or insects, whatever is moving. Non-moving means all the trees, the mountain, these things. So everything are the Krishna says is a combination of field of activities and the knower of the field. So, but then higher to that is the Krishna, right? So whatever is in the material world is a combination of these things: the person's desire and then the field of activities. So spiritually realized person can make a distinction between the spirit and matter in all circumstances. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyetsva avinashyatam yaf pashyati sapashyati. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul is ever destroyed, he actually sees. So that is what Krishna tells Arjuna in the chapter 2 also, right? Why are you lamenting for, they are not, he was lamenting that if what will happen to them, if I kill. So Krishna says that, why are you lamenting? You are not this body, right? They are also, there is no time that they were not there, nor you are there. They were always there because the soul is eternal. If they die, they will take another life. So, and also whoever got killed, they got a liberation, right? Or they went back to Krishna's world. So here the person is able to see, when you are able to see that there is a super soul there in all the living entities, obviously he will not try to kill them. No, he will not trouble the animals, or he will not be rude or towards other living entities. So obvious that consciousness will change in the person when he realizes that the super soul is there in every entity. So who is in real knowledge? One who can see three things in proper perspective: the body, its proprietor, the soul, and the super soul as a friend of the soul. The three things we are able to see. And the person sees that the body, it has caught because of some karma, right? Samam pashyani sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nahi sanyasta, what is nahi sanyasta atmanam tato yati param gatim. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. So when you know, like the famous, the example that we hear for this is that when a child knows that nobody is at home, then it does all the nonsense thing at home. No, it can do, it can create. But if he knows that mother is there, he'll be afraid to do, right? But because somebody is watching. So the same thing, when we realize, when we start understanding by reading Shastras that Krishna is there observing me, then I will not engage myself in any sinful activity, because I know that Krishna is observing. So that is there. So what will happen? The mind also will not be disturbed, because mind is disturbed only when we are in Maya. So when I am aware that Krishna is there with me, so then why there won't be any anxiety, right? So that person will not degrade. So even in Krishna says in chapter 6, no, Uddaredatmanatmanam yenatmaivatmano jitaha atmaiva atmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. Okay, so the mind is itself, mind can be one's own friend and mind can be one's own enemy. So if we are in shelter of the Lord, right, and engage our mind in devotional activity and disconnect in the sense avoid the material association, so then the mind is always our friend, right? So if mind is attached too much to sense enjoyment, right, then it can be harmful to us. So more of we feel like self pity will be there. I feel pity on myself because I am more attached to this, because I'll be in Maya, more the body consciousness. So the what is current situation of living entity? One has situated himself differently than in spiritual world. Because I forgot my real identity, I am here. What is the role of mind? Mind is generally addicted to sense gratification, which binds the living entity in the material world. Because mind is basically a material. It is said it is made of a material. So it is attracted to worldly things. It is true, no? Like if we want to chant, so hard it is for mind to fix the mind. But then you see the WhatsApp or something else or movies, we don't get any distraction. We can watch for hours, right? There is no distraction there. But then when you want to chant, so much it distracts because mind is material. When the mind, but it can be possible because Krishna says, how to control the mind? What does Krishna say? When Arjuna says that, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, Pramati balavat dridam, tasyaham nigraham manye, vayo rivastu dushkaram. So mind is very obstinate. It is very, so Krishna, Arjuna says, so what was the answer given by the Lord? How to control mind?
Fix mind on Krishna.
Yeah, what was the answer? Krishna's
It is
answer.
like wildfire. Wildfire.
Yeah, wildfire. Yeah, that is Arjuna. So what is Krishna's solution for that? How can one control? Abhyasa yoga. Krishna accepts. Yes, mind is.
Continuous meditation.
Surrender unto me, Mataji.
No, Krishna says there that Abhyasa yogena. What is that shloka? The next shloka of that, where Krishna says, Asamshayam mahabaho. Asamshayam mahabaho. Mano durnigraham chalam abhyasa yoga yuktena vairagyena cha gruhyate. The practice, vairagya, practice, devotional process, and then vairagya means detachment to material world. With these two things, you can control the mind. So when the mind turns to super soul, one becomes advanced. Then one approaches the transcendental destination. Then he is an actual seer. So we can see here, when a person is engaged in sense gratification or he wants more and more things to enjoy, then he's always sad, right? If one thing you get, you aspire for something else. This is never ending. That is how a person goes on looking for happiness in different things and thereby committing different offenses. So, but then when he turns towards God, then he'll be happy. Yasmin tushte jagat tushte, no? Because we are part and parcel of Lord. Unless we are connected to Krishna, we can never find happiness in different things. Prakrutaiva cha karmani kriyamānāni sarvashah yah pashyati tatātmānam akartāram sakas pashyati. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. So here we can see in the picture, this is actually the body is nothing but like a machine. No, it is desired to fulfill my desires. Krishna has made or given a body in such a way based on my desires. So I've got a human body too, and based on that I suffer or enjoy. So, and what does he say? Sees, but then actually the soul is not doing anything. Soul is only desired, but all the activities are carried by the this like a body. Yada bhuta pratak bhavam ekastam anupashyati tata eva cha vistaram brahma sampadhyate tada. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains Brahman conception. So this we saw even in chapter 5, right? 19th sloka. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Swapakesha Pandita Samadarshinaha. Pandita Samadarshina, how a person is able to see everyone on an equal platform. So this is possible when person attains that spiritual vision, that Brahman platform. He comes, so then he does not see that person as an animal, man, rich, poor, like that, because his consciousness has become purified. Anaditva nirgunatvat paramatmayam avyayah sharirasto api kaunteya nakaroti nalipyate. Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of material nature. Despite contact with material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. A living entity appears to be born because of the birth of material body, but actually living entity is eternal. He is not born, and in spite of being situated in a material body, he is transcendental and eternal. Thus he cannot be destroyed. By nature, he is full of bliss. Yes, he is also bliss, but currently he is forgotten. No? Currently, to be happy, we are seeing towards outside world. Somebody has to appreciate us. Otherwise we will not be happy. Or we always aspire for others to appreciate. So internally we are not, because we have forgot that I am already happy. Why should I? Because here it says that by nature he is full of bliss, but because of the bodily concept, I have forgotten my real consciousness, that real happiness, and I'm focusing more on outside world for my happiness. The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. So here comparison analogy is given of a sky. How the sky is not, though it looks all pervading, it does not mix. No, when we see this image, it looks like the sky is touching the water, but it is not so, right? So similarly, even the air, Prabhupada gives there in example that the air is there in water also, it's there in mud also, but then it does not mix. And whatever, even if there is a fragrance in the air, that also air is not taking anything. No, air does not mix with anything. So similarly, the living entity or the soul, which is there in this material body, does not mix with blood, right? It does not get mixed with these things in the body. It stay aloof. Yata prakashayatyeekah krishnam lokamimam ravihi kshetram kshetri tata krishnam prakashayati bharata. O son of Bharata, as the sun alone eliminates all this universe, so does the living entity one within the body eliminate the entire body by consciousness. So how do we know that there is a presence of soul? Because of consciousness. So if somebody pinch me, I can feel the pain because there's a consciousness there. No. So basically this consciousness comes from the Supreme Lord only. Kshetragna evam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti mokshancha ye viduryanti te param. One who knowingly sees the difference between the body and the owner of the body and can understand the process of liberation from this bondage also attains to the supreme goal. Kshetragna yorevam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti mokshancha ye viduryanti te param. Those who sees with the eyes of knowledge the difference between body and the knower of the body and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage in material nature attain to the supreme goal. Is this the same thing we read? No? So seeing with the jnana chakshusha means taking the knowledge from Shastras and trying to understand this material world and the body and the knower. So the result will be free from the one. So okay, somebody can read. This is the last slide, I think. Yeah.
This chapter elaborates Should I start, Mataji?
Yeah, please. Yes.
These chapters elaborate the distinction between the body, the owner of the body, and the super soul. Recognizing the process of liberation described in verses 8 to 12, one can reach the supreme destination. One should be in good association to hear of God, accept a spiritual master, to learn to distinguish between matter and spirit, and thereby attain spiritual realization. One can understand that this body is matter of the gross manifestation made of 24 elements. The subtle manifestation is the mind and the psychological effect. Symptoms of life are interaction of these features, but above all is the soul, the super soul. The soul and the super soul are two.
Yes. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So this is what we learned. So the real knowledge we saw. You can go through that purports in detail. Prabhupada has given from 8 to 12. So what is the real knowledge? And it has been detailedly described. And so understanding that I'm not this body and I'm the soul, spirit soul, and what is my relationship with the Lord and the material nature. So this will help me to come out of this cycle of birth and death. So these are the 6 sections we covered. Yes. So any questions in today's chapter, you may ask. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So please mark the attendance. Mataji has posted in the chat. Okay. Any questions? No questions? All understood? Hare Krishna. You can all unmute and say Hare Krishna so that I know that you are all listening to the
Hare
class.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, everything is understood, or you can just go back again and read the chapter. Okay, it may
Yes,
be
yes.
confusing, right? Something may be not clear because time constraint. We have to go fast, and we have to finish. So you can go through that purports again for detail wherever you have doubt. Yes. So please do attend the Bhagavatam class. I don't know, I think many of you are not attending. Whoever time permits in the morning, please do attend. And now it is even in Hindi, Bhagavatam, Prabhuji is taking NND Prabhuji in the evening, every day one shloka, 7:30 to 8, just half an hour, every day one shloka in the temple link. So you can attend that also if that time is okay for you. Because this is the time, no? This timing is okay for you. I mean, it's all on all the days. You can attend. Okay, no other questions. Then we can close. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta-koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Das Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Can we say all together? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Chaitanya Mataji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Taji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.